Back to politics now. 2020 Democratic candidates sounding off on new accusations against former Vice President Joe Biden.
I believe Lucy Flores.
I have no reason not to believe her.
I believe Lucy Flores. We need to live in a nation where people can hear her truth.
I have no reason not to believe Lucy. I'm not sure that one incident alone disqualifies anybody.
All right, so Bernie Sanders there saying that one incident might not disqualify Joe Biden from being able to be the president of the United States. But Sanders came out pretty tough, along with the other Democrats, against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, saying that he should be disqualified immediately, that an investigation had to happen. So is there a double standard here on the response to these two different cases? Here to debate that, senior writer at the Heritage Foundation, Kelsey Bolar, and Democratic strategist Spencer Critchley. Guys, thanks so much for getting up early with us today. Kelsey, we'll start with you.
Pleasure.
Do you see a double standard here at this point after the weekend?
I do, and I don't think this is a unique case where there is a double standard among Democrats when it comes to the MeToo movement. They constantly want to #believe all women when it is politically convenient for them to do so, but in cases like Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, where it's not so easy for them to believe all women, they cast those concerns aside, and he's still sitting in office.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Spencer, when we look at this, the story here, what Joe Biden is accused of doing doesn't reach the levels of other sexual assault cases that have been more publicly viewed here in this country. But, you know, this is another Democrat, so there's not really a political aspect to this. Is this pretty damning for Joe Biden?
I think it's way too soon to tell, and I agree with you that based on what we know so far, although we do need to listen to Lucy Flores, like we do need to make sure we listen to all women who have reports like this, I think it's way too soon to tell just how serious this is. And I disagree that there's a double standard evident here. I think that most Democrats have been fairly consistent about this, which is that two things can be true at the same time. One, that unlike through history until very recently, we do need to listen to women. And two, at the same time, we need to follow due process, which has served us so well through our entire history. And I think that's basically what we're hearing from Bernie here, and what I hope we'll hear from all Democrats and from everybody.
Let me stay with you just for a second. Bernie's saying that just one incident shouldn't disqualify you. I would imagine that would anger a lot of women. Just one incident shouldn't disqualify you from being the president of the United States.
Yeah, I think that if you check out what Bernie said in its full context, he started off by saying it's very important that we listen to Lucy Flores, as the other Democratic candidates you played have been saying. And he said that this is something that both Democrats and Republicans, all of us, need to take seriously, especially because of the history behind it when women were so often dismissed and silenced in cases like this. But he's also saying something that I hope we can all support, which is that we need to learn more.
Right. Yeah, Kelsey, back to you. You know, when Kavanaugh was going through all of this in the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and there was so much rage, when one of the women, it was found to be it was pretty certain that she was making up the story. It didn't stop Democrats from still saying that all of these women need to be believed. And that was just an interesting thing to hear. What did you make of that?
And it's interesting to hear Spencer now concerned about issues of due process. I would argue this is what conservatives have been raising all throughout these conversations involving Me Too, where we do need to wait for facts and investigations to come out. I'd say this Joe Biden allegation is different because there's video after video, picture after picture of him being incredibly handsy with women who clearly did not grant him permission to do so. That said, these are not allegations of any sort of sexual assault or anything worse. So we do need to take each allegation separately on its own. That's what conservatives have long been advocating for. But it's good to hear that Joe Biden is finally ready to listen to women, because this is behavior that he's been conducting all throughout his career.
Yeah. And then you have Bernie Sanders' campaign had some issues with this as well. It's a tricky subject, guys. We appreciate your time this morning. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 37 minutes after the hour, she went viral for complaining about being fed beans as she made her journey through Mexico. Now this migrant is going to be eating prison food.